Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig through stacks of sources to pull out the key insights for you. And today, we're looking into the really fascinating life of Anthony Boswell. You probably know him as Big Boz. He's often seen as this unseen architect, behind the legendary No Limit Records. Our sources describe him as, well, vice president, head of ops and management, and also Master P's childhood friend, his closest confidant. The picture painted is of someone calm, cool, quiet authority, often in the background.
Yeah, and what's really striking, I think, is Boz's journey. It gives us these incredible insights into entrepreneurship, resilience, the power of having a vision,
Right.
from the streets of New Orleans all the way to the executive suites of this multi-million-dollar label. His story didn't just shape his life, it shaped, well, an entire empire. So our mission today is really to unpack how those experiences played out.
Okay, so let's start right there, at the beginning. Boz's upbringing seems pretty unique. Calliope Projects, same as Master P, but then also private Catholic schools. That's quite a contrast. How did those two worlds shape him early on?
That's a great question. And it really brings up, how do you reconcile worlds that seem so opposite? Boz himself talks about this. He highlights that, okay, his mother gave him a strong academic foundation. He learned to read, write, speak well. But the immediate reality, the neighborhood he was in, that had a huge impact, a profound one.
So the street influence was stronger.
Well, he puts it this way. He didn't see doctors or lawyers as role models growing up. Instead, he saw guys like Sam Scully, saw him driving a 98 Porsche 928 and just decided, that's what I wants to be. His words.
Wow. So that was the aspiration.
Right. And he talks about how older OGs in the neighborhood kind of groomed him. Started young, like 12 or 13, partly because of some juvenile charges. By 6th grade, he said he was smoking weed.
6th grade.
Yeah. 7th grade, selling joints. By 9th grade, a full-fledged dope dealer.
Yeah.
Making like $100 a day back in 1979, selling $2 joints.
$100 a day in 79 is significant.
Absolutely. So, you might think a good education points one way, but Boz's story really shows how your environment, the examples right in front of you, they can pull you in really powerful, unexpected directions, shapes what you think is possible.
And that path, the street life, it obviously came with challenges, eventually led to his first really serious run-in with the law, right? Can you walk us through that and how this really tough time, ironically, became such a pivotal moment?
Yeah, absolutely. And connecting this to the bigger picture, his time in federal prison wasn't just punishment. He actually says straight up it was the best thing ever happened to me.
Best thing, prison.
Yeah. Says it fundamentally changed his life. So what happened was he got caught up in a conspiracy charge back in '85 related to cocaine, and it was loosely tied into the whole Contra affair thing.
Okay, I remember that. Big scandal in the 80s.
Right. So basically, a square dude, someone Boz had vouched for, got busted, and that guy turned on his partners, who then turned on Boz.
The domino effect.
Exactly. He was facing 0 to 20 years, got an 8-year sentence, ended up serving about 4.5.
4.5 years, federal time.
Okay.
So what lessons could possibly be learned there that were so positive?
Well, he says he learned these critical life lessons from older inmates. He calls them super hip cats, real mentors, guys like Edgar Dillon Duke, Robert Stephanie. And he actively sought them out, these guys in their 50s, 60s, 70s. Said he refused to hang with the younger inmates.
Interesting. So he was looking for wisdom even there.
Seems like it. It really highlights this idea that, even in the absolute harshest places, mentorship can be an invaluable education if you seek it out. He also tells this vivid story about the paperwork party culture.
Paperwork party? What's that?
In federal prison, apparently, you have to show your indictment papers. It's to prove you haven't snitched on anyone.
Seriously?
Yeah. And he says he was totally shocked to see Freeway Ricky Ross, named on his paperwork, claims he'd never even met the guy.
Huh. Wild.
So for Boz, prison became this unique, really harsh, but unique form of education. It shaped his whole mindset about business, about life, taught him about knowledge, strategy, understanding how systems work.
That's a pretty profound shift coming out of that experience. So how did he take all that unique background, the street smarts, the prison lessons, and transition into helping build No Limit Records, one of the biggest independent labels ever?
Yeah, that transition, it's a really fascinating example of applying, let's call it street acumen, to a legit business. Boz said he was all in from day one with Master P's vision. He saw it as a clear escape route from the dangerous life he knew.
A way out.
Definitely. And he remembers being totally shocked when P first put $250,000 in his bank account from record sales. His first thought was, we're going to jail, because he was so used to dealing in just cash. hoarding it.
From street cash to massive bank deposits. Quite a leap.
Huge leap. And then later, P calls him up and says, "Welcome to the Millionaires Club." That was after a $1.2 million deposit from a record deal landed. Boz was maybe 27, 28. A defining moment, he said.
I can imagine. So it sounds like a real crash course in scaling up, moving from illicit cash to legitimate capital.
Right.
What was it about No Limit's business model that was so revolutionary at the time?
Well, it flew right in the face of industry norms. Completely. Right. Most labels back then, they dictated maybe one album release per artist per year.
Right, the standard approach.
P and Boz, they looked at the numbers and just decided, nope, we're going to flood the market deliberately.
Flood the market. How many releases are we talking?
Get this. In 1998 alone, they put out 14 albums. Now, Wikipedia lists 23 total releases from the label that year, but focusing on the albums. 10 of those went platinum, 11 went gold.
10 platinum, 11 gold.
In 1 year. In 1 year. They grabbed something like 12% of the entire market share. It was astonishing.
Unbelievable. That must have ruffled some feathers in the industry.
Oh, big time. Boz tells this story about a meeting. Him and P facing like 30 executives. White executives, he specifies. From BMI, Priority Records.
Okay. The establishment.
Exactly. And these execs are basically demanding No Limit slowdown, stop releasing so much music.
What happened?
Master P apparently just stood up and basically said, "Y'all think white is right, but white ain't motherfucking right today. This is my shit. If y'all don't want to rock with that, then y'all cannot rock with me."
Wow. Straight up.
Straight up. Boz said he was so proud he hugged P right after, called it the most powerful shit he'd ever seen.
I took guts. And their approach wasn't just about volume, right? They made some bold moves signing artists, too.
Totally audacious. Like with Mystical. Jive Records claimed he owed them $350,000. Master P just wrote a check on the spot, threw it on the table, and said, basically, Mystical's coming with us now.
Just like that. Bottom out.
Pretty much. And Snoop Dogg, too. When Snoop was having all those issues with Death Row, kind of on his ass, as Boz put it, No Limit brought him in, bought him a house, cars. They even had to deal with Death Row's energy, let's say, showing up at their shows. They faced them down.
So they weren't intimidated?
Not at all. Boz's story really drives home how those skills you hone on the street, like shrewd risk-taking, hitting the market hard and fast, distribution, loyalty. When you redirect that energy ethically into a legitimate business, it can be this massive competitive advantage. They completely disrupted the old models.
That's a really powerful takeaway. Okay, so it wasn't just music then. Boz got involved in No Limit's film ventures too, and he clearly has this deep connection to New Orleans culture. What else was he involved in?
Yeah, he really leveraged his experiences across different avenues, always keeping that strong sense of identity. He starred in some of those No Limit films like I'm 'Bout It, which he said felt like reality TV because it was all real elements, no special effects needed. It reflected their lives.
Right, drawing from experience.
Exactly. And I got the hookup. He even popped up in Gone in 60 Seconds. Apparently, Master P suggested him for the part. Showed he had this natural talent.
Huh. And the New Orleans connection.
Oh, deeply important to him. He talks about the spiritual significance of New Orleans, points out it shares the same longitude and latitude as Africa, and he described unique cultural things, like the second line, that celebratory funeral procession with dancing.
Yeah, I've seen footage of that. It's amazing.
And the Mardi Gras Indians paying tribute to the Native American tribes who helped runaway slaves. He also tackles the stigma around voodoo. He sees it as a powerful spiritual ritual, not something evil like it's often portrayed.
So his roots are still very much part of who he is. What's he focused on these days? What's his mission now?
Well, today he's involved in housing rentals, Airbnbs specifically, and his main income, he says, comes from mental health facilities he's involved with.
Mental health facilities. Interesting.
Yeah. And he's also building a website, bigbuyNoLimitFanClub.com. The goal is to help formerly incarcerated people get back on their feet, offering guidance on, like, credit, starting businesses, finding legitimate ways to succeed.
Giving back based on his own journey.
Exactly. He's pretty vocal, though, criticizing what he calls the current selfish generation. Says they're killing the game, meaning that old street code of honor, loyalty, unity, mainly through snitching and just lack of solidarity.
He sees a decline in those values.
He does. But he also shares success stories. Like, he mentored this one former inmate, and after about a year and a half, the guy built his first double property using the strategies Boz teaches.
That's concrete proof his approach works. Does he still listen to the old No Limit stuff? Any favorites?
Oh, yeah. His personal top 5 No Limit albums, he lists Ghetto D, I'm Bout It soundtrack, Mia X's Unladylike, Max Shell-Shocked, and TRU's True to the Game.
Solid list.
Definitely classics. His current work, it really feels like a testament to his belief that, every experience, even the really hard ones, can be a foundation for growth, and that real power comes from knowledge and from sharing that success.
What a truly compelling deep dive into Big Boz's life.
Yeah.
That duality, Calliope Projects in Catholic school, finding unexpected mentors in prison,
Yeah.
and then taking that raw street knowledge and using it to build an entertainment powerhouse. It's a remarkable story.
It really is. And his journey just underlines his core belief that everything in life is good no matter what you go through. And that idea that knowledge is power, especially knowing your rights, understanding the systems. He literally says, read your Constitution, man. Know your Bill of Rights.
Practical advice.
Very practical.
Yeah.
And his commitment now, helping others make that transition from past lives to legitimate success, using lessons he learned the hard way. It's genuinely inspiring stuff.
So as you think about Big Boz's path, maybe consider this. How could understanding your own origin story with all its own complexities, its unexpected turns, how might that empower you to navigate whatever your next chapter is and maybe build something truly impactful yourself?